Got the decision, controversially at the York Hall. I'm sure the three judges at ringside here, Steve Gray, Salvador Salva from Spain, and Jean-Francois Tupin from France in front of us, will all have it a fairly wide victory for Conor Benn. The two legitimate knockdowns, the one as well that was counted. It might look a landslide on the cards, but it was closer at times. Certainly the first 3 or 4.
We're going to talk in a minute. This is the end of the fight.
And I think it's a case of, he said he boxed, eventually he settled down, and he did. It was job done, and he can move on from here.
Most definitely.
You know, in my opinion, you know, I'm going to be very critical. You know, unless he makes some major changes, and just looking at the makeup of the fighter, it's hard to see Conor Benn being a world champion one day. You know, I added him to my video rotation last year when he fought Peynaud in, what was that, December of last year. So what happens is, when I cover a fighter once, I tend to keep them in the rotation. For example, you know, for years I've been doing that. So since he's been fighting, I didn't cover his last fight though I was sick in the hospital. But since he's been fighting, you know, I've been covering this fight. And what I'm seeing, you know, there just seems to be so much wrong. And even though this one right here, this chapter should be closed, and he should go on to win, you know, this fight, we're waiting for the judges to read the cards. He should go on to win this fight, and furthermore, move on to, you know, getting a, you know, domestic level title. But he was having some real issues to beginning of the fight, and also that first knockdown wasn't legit. You know, he, you know, defensively, I guess you can say, you know, it's defensively where he has some flaws. But, you know, he's still young. You know, he's only 21 years old. You know, so, you know, like I said, I'm sorry to be critical. You know, I'm just like calling it like I see it. You know, but there's some things that, you know, he's got to tighten up defensively. And he's fighting in the money division, you know, of boxing, the glamour division at 147. Now, of course, there's no point in mentioning him against like the top dogs at 147, because by the time he gets to that level, if he does get to that level, those guys are going to be gone. Guys like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan, you know, those guys are going to not be in that division. Let's see if they I didn't hear the cards.
The judges had it just like Carl. Conor Benn remains undefeated, and he closes the chapter here with Cedrick Peynaud, who gave him plenty to think about in the first 9 minutes, 12 minutes, but once he settled, once he got used to that shock southpaw charging of Peynaud, he got the job done. Still too early to really know how far he'll go in levels, but we are going to enjoy him.
We certainly are, yes, and like I said earlier, what a bonus to have two such learning fights.
This belt he just won, I just went to look it up. The WBA Continental welterweight title. You know, thank God for BoxRec, man, because, you know, they keep up with the lineage of these titles. You know, I don't know how accurate it is, but I would go to say that, you know, it should be pretty accurate, accurate. But, man, they just be making up these belts, man. When was the last champion? It was invented in 2014. The next champion was in 22 champions in 20. Man, where they be getting these belts from, man? Anyway, you know, like I said, this is not meant to bash Conor Benn. Look, and it's a nice looking belt. What the fuck, WBA? Let's see if he does an interview. You know, also, I want to hear if Eddie Hearn is going to say something, because he was out there with Buatsi. So I want to see if he's going to say some things about Conor Benn. Last year, they were saying because Conor Benn had fought, what was that, 5 fights in 2017. His last fight in 2017 was against Peynaud. They were saying maybe he overtrained, you know, was working too hard, you know. Let's see if they do an interview. Yeah, let's listen in.
congratulations. After some tricky early rounds, that was an emphatic win. Does that close the Cedrick Peynaud chapter of your career for good?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was hard work. I didn't realise how hard 10 rounds was. You know, I really hurt my knuckle in the first round. You know, but I knew he was southpaw, so...
On your right hand?
Yeah, it really hurt it. You know, I'm going to get it checked because it feels really bad. You know, the right hands were open down the middle, so, you know, I couldn't really stop throwing them. But it does really hurt, so, yeah.
What about months and months of preparation?
Goes Pop,
over and over, and then
the legend.
He comes out southpaw.
Absolutely ruined everything. Ruined everything. There goes the slip right hand over the jab I've been working on all day long. And, you know, I had to adapt. It was hard work.
You said after 6 rounds, I don't know if I'd ever be able to do 8 or 10, but you've done it. How did you feel?
Shattered. I need to go get in bed.
Let's have a word with your dad, Nigel. No, just in terms of career progression, just how valuable are those 16 rounds against Cedrick Peynaud?
Yeah, but you know what it is, Conor, 20 amateur fights, and look where he's fighting at the O2. Yeah,
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like, you look at people like Joe Cordina, great fighter, Josh Taylor, all like 180s, 200 amateurs, 20 amateur fights, and look where he is now. He's fighting for a title. He's still got boy strength. Wait till he learn his trade. Wait till he's 25, 26. It's got a long way to go, and I'm just glad. I'm glad that he's done 10 rounds.
You told us in the build-up, I'm just going to box, but how much of a natural battle is it in your head to have that fight between wanting to have a scrap and trying to box?
It was hard, because I could have gone to war, but I wanted to make it easy for myself. It was still hard work making it easy for myself, so can't imagine how hard that would have been if I actually scrapped for 10 rounds. You know, so I did show a lot more boxing than I have done before. Scrapped a little bit, you know, but you got to get the balance right, and I think I got the balance just okay tonight. I need to go back and watch it and see what the mistakes I made and where I can improve.
Are you happy with the performance though?
I'll watch it back.
Well done.
I really wanted them to interview Eddie Hearn to see, you know, what Hearn is going to say. I did go and check out the rankings, and Conor Benn is not ranked in the top 15 of any of the major sanctioning bodies, WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO, which means that, you know, he can't challenge for a title until he is ranked. And, you know, Eddie Hearn's a smart man, you know, so I'm pretty sure they're looking like, yo, bro, you got some shit you got to work on. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, where he goes, you know, next, you know, and, you know, it does have to be pointed out, and you know, it should be mentioned that he does have, you know, limited, you know, amateur background. But, you know, if he goes up against, you know, some fighters with some legit skills and amateur background, you know, he's going to get beat up or he's going to get stopped. You know, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.